My final project and lecture for History of Contemporary Art is on the idea of abject art, or abject, or how certain things are abject, and I chose to focus specifically on how gays and homosexuals are represented on television. If you look at your average TV show today, whether it's a primetime show or a morning soap, there's plenty of gay representation. However, the effect that these characters have on the show's appeal is something to be looked at. There's been, there have been, and continues to be objections or people having issues with homosexual characters on television. People in society today have people in society have always had trouble swallowing this particular idea and not being cool with it. Furthermore, the fear is that furthermore, in this fear and rejection of the is although this fear and rejection is beginning to die down as of late, we see that it's still an issue. It's still a prominent issue that we need to face with everything that's going on in our society in particular. On television, homosexuals are represented in many ways that are either negative. That either negate stereotypes or reinforce them. Over the years, we have progressed from featuring gay characters in minor roles that aren't really noticed for comedic purposes only, to showing them as more purposeful and more central to the show, really as predominantly major roles on the show. However, even today, gay characters on television aren't always portrayed realistically. These characters are often the butt of jokes, come up for short periods of time. This begs the question of why. Why are these characters still to this day even in a much more liberal and accepting society than before, still portrayed this way? Our society, although is very accepting, it still has issues with this particular topic across the board, whether you're really a religious freak or just in general. A lot of people just have issues with it, whether it's against your beliefs or what, it doesn't matter. I believe this is this is because the idea of homosexuality and its portrayal on television is very abject. This is something we learned about in this class, and how things are abject in art. We can see that this idea translates to this topic, particularly on television. The idea of gay representation being abject is mirrored in contemporary art. Same way, it's very similar. Where was I? In places all over the world, we have this same issue. In the United Kingdom, in Africa, anywhere really, there's this issue that won't go away. If we look at the deeper idea of why homosexual representation is abject, we can see that it has more to do with the reality, or so-called the normalization of homosexuality, that it needs to be normalized, like it's not normal already. This idea that that the really far extreme religious right tends to fight against and show that homosexuality is not healthy, and they fight against this idea that in showing homosexuality as a healthy, normal, just productive thing, that they showing it in this positive way is bad to them. And to me, that represents and is the same as how contemporary art is considered abject, and certain contemporary artists are considered abject, like Cindy Sherman or Borges. Their art is very abject, and people take issue with it. Basically, what it boils down to is that the representation of gays on TV, although similar in its treatment, is not an artistic move, but a logical move to fairly represent everyone in society. It needs to be done. I think it's fair to represent these characters on television because they are a part of our society. Whether certain people like it or not, it doesn't matter. It's a part of our society, and it's only fair representation of equally across the board that we should be putting on television. And I think that it's very clear and obvious that this representation between of homosexuals on television is very similar to at least the objection to that is very similar to that of the artists that are in contemporary art like Sherman and other people that are objected to very similarly. Thank you.